Donald Trump has announced that he is running for president in 2024.
Yeah, in his much-anticipated speech, he promised to tackle the ongoing economic crisis and to stop illegal immigration. Let's take a look at his big announcement.
America's golden age is just ahead, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America glorious again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, joining us now is political advisor for Look Ahead America and a former Trump campaign staffer, Matt Brainard. Morning to you, Matt. Thanks for joining us, especially given the time where you are. First of all, I guess you're quite excited about Donald Trump running for president again.
I think I'm excited, but I think I'm not nearly as excited as the media is. It's a huge story here. It's a huge story all over the world. And if you look back at what happened in 2016, that's kind of the reason why he was so successful, is that most other candidates, they have to spend a lot of money to buy the amount of airtime that news media is giving him for free. They covered his entire speech end to end, even on stations that really are adversarial to him, like CNN and MSNBC. They gave him a bunch of free airtime. So I think nobody's really more excited about this than the media, because it really drives their ratings, and that's what they charge ads on the basis of.
It's interesting because there was lots of speculation about whether or not he might retract his plan to announce his candidacy after not doing so well, not just the Republicans, but the candidates that he endorsed, not least his acolyte, Carrie Laken, who was much expected to be his running mate. And we've now seen Rupert Murdoch withdrawing support for him. We've seen Fox News pulling away from his speech that was broadcast live on their channel last night. He's not going to make it, is he?
I think it's a little troubling, though, just what you've said, at least to me as an American. I don't know how things are over in the UK, where media oligarchs and giant international global companies get to decide who our nominee for president is, or who our president is.
The midterms last week that these
President Trump
positions
have
been taken.
I think it's a very scary thing to have to hear. And this is a battle. This nomination is going to be decided not by the media or pundits, but in the battlegrounds of Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and the other states across the country, not by pundits or by media oligarchs like, Rupert Murdoch.
With respect, the Club for Growth, which is an influential group of conservative donors, have already come out and proved that the polling for DeSantis is doing much better in many of the states that you just mentioned. It's the Republicans, not just media gurus and whoever else you might want to attribute it to.
We are going to have a hard-fought primary, and I think it's very important that Donald Trump has decided to run, because it's going to determine who's going to be the voice of the Republican Party in the future. So either it's going to be Donald Trump, or it's going to be somebody that's going to defeat Donald Trump. And I can tell you that by having a robust, energetic primary with different ideas and different candidates, that's going to prepare whoever our candidate is to be very strong going into the general. I am certain of two things. Number one is that we have a deep bench of very good candidates from the governor of Iowa, from the governor of Virginia and Florida, and former President Donald Trump. The second thing I'm confident of is that in Minneapolis, in the summer of 2024, whoever wins, we're all going to join hands and stand shoulder to shoulder and march to victory in November.
So you're saying that if Donald Trump doesn't get the Republican ticket to run for president, he will happily step aside and go, for example, if Ron DeSantis gets the ticket, Ron, great, I'm behind you, let's go for it. You really think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm completely confident of it. And like I said, we're all better off by having a robust primary. And we do need to definitively decide who the leader of the party is, because whenever a party is in this vacuum where they're out of power, it's really unsure and unclear who the leader is. And we have this former president who many of his supporters, many Republicans believe, kind of got an unfair shake in 2020 with the media suppressing stories about Hunter Biden, tech oligarchs investing money in Democrat-heavy areas while not investing money in the election systems in Republican-heavy areas, other ways that the election appears to be rigged, who think he deserves a second chance. There are other people in the party who are like, yeah, let's get a fresh face in here. We're all going to have a long discussion. We're a big family here. And the one thing I'm sure of is we're going to march towards victory together out of the Minneapolis convention in 2024 to victory in November.
So how do you explain the midterm election results then, where 22 losses for the Republicans in key Senate battlegrounds occurred, with candidates that were backed by Donald Trump?
Well, there's two ways to look at it. If you're a critic of Donald Trump, you'll say that he was a curse on these candidates. He shouldn't have gotten involved. He pushed candidates forward who wouldn't have survived other way. If you looked at it from somebody who's an advocate for Donald Trump, you probably say, well, the problem is that he wasn't on the ballot. Because when he was on the ballot in 2020, even though he lost, we picked up a bunch of House seats and we did very well in Senate races. So his argument would be, look, for the Republican Party to win, I need to be on the ballot, which is a compelling argument in itself. But, there's two ways you can see that. Maybe he's a curse, but maybe he needs to be on the ballot for us to be really successful.
Is
but
that
the truth is that just in fairness,
Sure.
though, there were a lot of candidates he did endorse that did win. It's not the majority of the ones he endorsed did, in fact, win last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say, when it comes to the way you view that, is it really just a prism between the two, whether it's a curse or to do with the fact that his name wasn't on there? Or was it actually to do with most of the candidates that he endorsed actually claimed electoral fraud, which after going through the courts, numerous audits, has been rejected effectively at the ballot box by Americans? They don't like that argument, which was again repeated at Mar-a-Lago by President Trump last night.
Well, it depends on what you consider. I mean, the fact is that the New York Post story about Hunter Biden's laptop and all the evidence connecting his father to foreign transactions was suppressed by tech oligarchs and other media who said it was fake news, who said it was a Russian intelligence operation. Now we know it was all completely true and it was all authentic. We had Mark Zuckerberg investing in Democrat areas election systems like Fulton County in Georgia, which is heavily Democrat, and not investing in any of the many red counties surrounding it, which did have an impact on the election outcome. And a lot of people think that's out there. And now that has actually been made illegal in many states. So you can make a very compelling argument in facts that the election was rigged against him. Now, some people disbelieve it, whatever. But one thing I can tell you is that the election in 2024 is not going to be about issues like that. It's really going to be about the same thing your earlier segment was on about people relying on food banks in the UK because of inflation and other problems. We have the problems just as bad here in the US. And there's only one person to blame, the guy in charge, Joe Biden and his administration. And it's going to be a choice between his vision and continuing on the path we've been for the last 2 years, or a Republican alternative, whoever our nominee happens to be. DeSantis, Youngkin, Trump, any one of these guys would be a fantastic candidate to take our country back in the right direction.
Matt, we really appreciate you talking to us this morning. We know it's stupid o'clock in the morning where you are, so thank you. Thanks for your thoughts. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.